So calisthenics skills are difficult for a few reasons. First of all, they're just fucking hard, right? You can't get rid of that fact. They take months or years to achieve. And yeah, that's the first reason and the most obvious, right? The second is you can't diversify your energy when you're going for skills, especially initially, right? In my experience, when I went for 5+ skills at the same time, front lever, muscle up, planche, handstand, and human flag, when I started off with those 5, I didn't make progress in any of them. Or if I did, it was super, super slow and I couldn't notice a change, right? When you're working on that many skills, where you're learning all these new, autonomy positions, you're trying to protract, retract, you're trying to push your shoulders out, whatever, right? It takes so much effort just to learn one new thing, let alone 5, that you're not really making any strength progress when you do that, right? It's so hard for a lot of people to learn calisthenics skills because they're trying to diversify when all they really need to do is practice 1 or 2 skills and spend a lot of time on those, practice those, get good at just those skills, and then move on to the next ones, right? I really wish I'd learned this in the beginning when I didn't spend probably 6 months trying to figure everything out in calisthenics and, ultimately failing, or not failing, but barely making any progress because I'd spent so much time on every skill rather than picking 1 or 2 or 3 even and just sticking to those. In that first year of calisthenics, when I was just trying to figure everything out, it was really demotivating to practice so many difficult skills and barely make progress in any of them. I was making all these changes just to, get better at the skills I was practicing, but I was forgetting that the more skills I practice, the less I can improve in all of them because that's how it works, right? If you diversify in money, let's say, if you have a bunch of different stocks, then you have to put less money in each stock, right? Because that's just how it works. That's just how you divide your time, your energy, and the same applies for skills in calisthenics. One of my friends, he's only practicing handstands and weighted pull-ups, and he's making a lot of progress in both of those, which is amazing, right? I think a big reason he's making this much progress is because he's only practicing those 2 skills. He's not focusing a lot on planche or any of the other skills. He's going all in on those 2, and that's why he makes so much progress. If he then, after a few months, decides he's, good enough in those, then he can start training some other things, but he's already got the background of what he's done before, so it's a win-win, If I was trying to compete with him and I was doing all the skills at once, I would be nowhere near where he's at right now in any of my skills, and I wouldn't get there for longer than he would because that's just how it works. In my opinion, I don't know, in my experience, based on what I've done, if you can practice, 5+ skills at once and actually see some progress, and I don't know, why not keep going? But just in my eyes, I don't think that worked at all for me. So I'm just giving my thoughts. I think a really big reason I started with so many skills is because I thought I could, do calisthenics easily. I started thinking, well, this will be so easy, it's not even worth a challenge, right? And that ego got in the way, and I ended up paying for that with 6 months of my time being completely almost useless. I wouldn't say useless, but it was pretty close because I barely made any progress. I barely checked my form. All I really did was spend time attempting skills, which didn't really do anything. But so yeah, if you can avoid that mistake, then this video was worth it. If one person can say, you know what, I'm not gonna go for just attempts anymore, then this video will be a win for me and for you. But don't get me wrong, attempts are great, but you have to supplement them with some strengthening exercises, right? You're not just going to make a lot of progress with just attempts. It is good for like proprioception, where you kind of know what your form is, what you have to do to get the correct form. It is good to practice that. But when I only did attempts, I wasn't making a lot of strength improvements, just form ones, which there's a time for that, right? Again, but don't only focus on those, especially in the beginning. I like to think of it kind of as a circle that gets wider and wider as you get better at more skills. So in the really middle, in the smallest circle, there's your basic exercises, right? There's your dips, pull-ups, and then as you go wider, once you get good at the basics, you go to, the other basics like handstand, muscle up, and then after that, you get to more advanced skills. You get to, let's say, handstand push-up. You can start training planche. You get the front lever, and then even wider, there's like 90-degree handstand push-ups and Maltese and whatever else, planche push-ups. And you can even go wider than that, but I'm not going to talk about that. Basically, I recommend for most people to do those 1 to 2 skills in the middle, and then once you get good at those, move out. And then once you get good at those, move out. That's really the way I think about it. I think it simplifies it a lot, that you don't really have to think about it. And I think that makes a lot more progress than what I was doing before with the 5+ skills at the same time. And it's a lot more fun too, because the more you see progress, the more motivated you get to keep going, right? And the way I was doing it, I didn't see a lot of progress. That's why I gave up like 4 times in the first year. But doing it like that makes you see progress a lot more. Like when I started only working on planche and muscle ups, I think I saw a lot of progress in both, which made me really want to keep going, because I was like, oh, holy shit, I'm seeing progress once a week at this point, and it's like amazing to see. All I have to do is wait a week and I can see more improvements, right? It was kind of addicting, and it was something I really lacked beforehand, so it was a really nice thing to see and experience. Overall, just learning a bunch of new skills at once didn't really help me at all, so that's what I was trying to say. Learning calisthenics skills is hard, so try not to make it harder than you have to by doing all these unnecessary things in the beginning, right? Just focus on a few things, get good at those, and move on, right? Or keep going. I don't know. It's your choice. This whole calisthenics is a personal journey. So do the skills you want, but at least make progress in them if you're going to do them, right? Please. But yeah, that's really it. Thanks for watching. And if you want some cool shirts, go to the link in the description. So appreciate it.